Hello, everyone, and welcome to Star Trek Mercury, a Star Trek Adventure 2nd Edition game using the rules by Modiphius Entertainment. My name is ELH the Game Master, and joining me are four lovely individuals who will meet right away because we have a lot to get through in today's session, and who knows, we might be pushing another 2-hour episode out to YouTube. Shout out to YouTube. But we will start with Mr. Adcon. Adcon, who are you playing, and anything you want to shout out?
Hey everybody, it's your boy, your buddy, it's Adcon playing today, as always, Commander Kovat Paden, the most friendliest Cardassian in Starfleet.
All right, Joggy Wago, what do you got going on?
I'm here as your pilot and engineer, Jensar Ebsen, and I'm coming in hot off this from just playing Vason, so I'm looking forward to switching gears and having fun getting in trouble instead of running the game.
I hear
Also, if you
that.
hear crashes, the cats have the zoomies.
Ah, yeah, my cat is also having the zoomies, so if I suddenly go offline, we know why. Logger, what do you got going on?
Hey there, Logger here, playing Rad Ram, Lieutenant Commander, Chief of Security and Friendly Neighborhood Blue Man Group member.
All right, and last but not least, Forever GM.
Hello there, Forever GM here. I'm playing Lieutenant Commander Stafford, the very friendly holodeck enthusiast science officer aboard the Mercury.
All right, and let's run that intro, and then we'll get started proper. And welcome back. So, something I like doing for all of my Star Trek games where applicable is I have the players do an opening log. And if I remember correctly, Stafford, you have that honor today, so please take it away.
Thank you very much. Supplemental log. After a thorough examination, we have determined Nyx is a life form beyond any that Starfleet has ever encountered. Simultaneous. Just one moment. I'm getting some sort of feedback on my end over my mic. Just like. All right. Hate to do this. I'm going to cancel my call and hop back in because I think it's my headset acting up. Just
Okay. We'll just chat about something else.
See, this is what we get for sharing confidential, redacted information that the temporal affairs does not want us talking about.
Yeah, dang old temporal affairs messing up us again. Wouldn't be the first time.
True. And I don't have a feedback anymore, so I'm good to go.
All right, well, start that log over.
Supplemental log. After a thorough examination, we've determined that Nyx is a life form beyond any that Starfleet has ever encountered, simultaneously having mass, yet no mass, physicality, but permeability. Sometimes she has life signs, others it's like trying to get a reading from the interior of a black hole. Nyx has been very pleasant throughout this entire process, happy to answer questions, eager to please. She has confirmed she is the black box, and that the paraphysics and acausality involved with her creation are merely a byproduct of the transwarp hubs being brought onto the Federation's network. For now, Nyx has requested that we simply resume the task of bringing the network online. Even Fleet Admiral Ignitrix and Fleet Admiral Vishakwa agree that, barring any future problems from Nyx, there's no reason to hold up our mission.
All right, and you may have a momentum for the opening log, meaning you start with 1. So, where we begin is you have just gotten your mission directives from Fleet Admiral Tal Shakal. Again, he's that Andorian Fleet Admiral that kind of saw you off initially. And he's basically told you that unless you feel that there is an imminent danger to the Federation, to the Shackleton Expanse, or basically any of the transwarp hubs that you're scheduled to visit, that you should go ahead with the mission. Though again, there's kind of an asterisk there that says if Paden thinks, something is wrong, something is so wrong that it needs to be stopped, Paden still has field authority, if that makes any sense, where Paden has the ability to stop things in their tracks if it gets out of hand, kind of a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Now, where we will begin is we will have everybody in the conference room, including Nyx, as you decide which of the transwarp hubs you would like to visit next. I know initially we were going to have you head out to Narendra Station in the Shackleton Expanse, but let me outline the areas you can go to. So, Shackleton Expanse, that's option 1. And that is on the other side of Klingon space. So you basically hop and skip over Klingon space to get to where the Shackleton Expanse begins. That's option 1. Option 2 is you can go all the way down to, as I look at my map, what is that colony's name? Basically, you go galactic south from Earth, and you head down to a starbase there, which you'll have to excuse me, my map is not loading, but there's galactic south, that's option 2. Option 3 is you head out towards DS9, and you either put the transwarp hub on the network at DS9, or you go to the secondary transwarp hub, which is in the Sabine Expanse. And for those who don't know, the Sabine Expanse is kind of my playground where my original games, Arcadia, Ophion, all kind of ran around. It is beyond Cardassian space, beyond where the wormhole is, but still in the Alpha Quadrant, if that makes any sense. So, again, I just can't get this map to load, so I don't have the starbase offhand, but I'll put it in chat. So you've got Shackleton, Galactic South, and then you have DS9, and then you have Sabine. And I'll put that in chat for everybody.
So, as we're looking at these options, I'd like to sort of ask, so we know that there's the wormhole near DS9. Is there similar wormhole activity at the other ports? Because I feel like they perhaps might be a bit of a wild card in terms of what could happen.
So there are no other wormholes that are on record. Now, of course, wormholes besides the Bajoran wormhole are notoriously, finicky, where they can come and go at a whim's notice. But you are correct in analyzing that the wormhole that DS9 is parked out against could potentially mess with the transwarp hub there. That is a valid concern.
Mm-hmm. Hmm.
Beyond that, I feel like perhaps there might be value in
If you're talking, you're not being picked up by your mic.
Yeah, I was going to say, Joggy, you cut out there mid-sentence.
am I coming through now?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, sorry about that. Jensar is gonna sort of thinking about things. So he's mentioned their concern about the potential for, let's save the most complicated for last in terms of turning things on. But if we're weighing options, perhaps the colonists might be a good next stop, since colonies tend to be a little more on the end of trade hubs and would benefit the most from having a direct transportation route.
I have similar concerns, but I'm thinking of maybe starting with the Shackleton Expanse as originally planned, because that could strengthen our bond with the Klingons.
I'm leaning towards either Sabine or uh, the Galactic South, Ceti Alpha, uh, near the Mutara Nebula, mostly because DS9 directly has the wormhole, and we're not exactly sure how that's going to work out with the transwarp network that we're establishing. And the Shackleton Expanse is pretty well known for having weird anomalies in and around space there. So, what do you think, Commander? Uh, at the end of the day, you are the captain, and whatever choice you make, I will back you 100%.
I appreciate that. I do want to hear Commander Ram's opinion.
I would agree that the Galactic South is probably the option that yields the fewest complications. Putting the wormhole in the Shackleton Expanse seems prudent.
I think it'd be the safest option. I'm just not sure it'd be the most politically expedient. What is the what activity have we gotten from the Klingon Empire ever since we started this transport project? Are they into it? Do they want to get involved? Are they looking forward to using it?
Well, you asked that in and out of character, and rather than Ram or Stafford or Ebsen answer, Nix answers. And I should qualify that Nix, still the anthropomorphic version of a black hole, still has those eyes that are way too, like, abyssal, and she still speaks with a harmonious, pitch and fall, almost like G-Man from Half-Life, where it's not quite correct, but it's close enough. But what she says is the Klingons have been watching the Mercury ever since you hooked up the hub. They're very curious as to what our vessel is. Not enough to fight us, but they have been doing some discreet scans.
I mean, that's to be expected. If the Klingons had to start technology, we'd be doing the same thing.
Though I thought you
And
might be interested to know that there is a Klingon vessel that believe it is currently under cloak, but I have detected a tachyon surge within its cloaking device. I can give you the exact coordinates where it is.
Ram, did we detect anything on sensors?
Quick check.
Ram, as far as your sensors are concerned, you don't see a cloaked vessel right now.
Nothing that I can see on my sensors.
Let's let them believe that we still know where they are, because we don't need to spook anybody.
Oh, and have I mentioned the Romulan? There's a Romulan out there too.
That one might need to be addressed.
If we end up communicating with the Romulans, then the Klingons are also going to suspect we can see through their cloak.
No, and of course, no insult meant. But what about the Do we have the full trifecta? Do we have a? Are the Cardassians also present? Since we know and honestly, the Ferengi, they're probably interested in the profit level.
And Nick sort of smiles and says, well, I'm not detecting any Ferengi. I'm not detecting any Cardassians other than the commander here. Though I will note that there is a Tholian trader that is moving through the local area. I don't think they've really scanned us or cared that we're here, but there is nominally a Tholian ship nearby if that interests you.
The Tholians keep to themselves mostly, unless they're trading.
Even their trading tends to be on the lower end of things.
No, that's the way I see it. Sabine or Ceti Alpha will probably make the most sense, in just in terms of getting our feet wet with this, making sure there's no further issues. But I think it'd be a good idea to get Shackleton online as soon as possible.
Might
Just from the
we?
sense of showing the flag. Yeah, showing the flag, showing that our system can work even in more adverse conditions, and definitely opening up more logistical routes with the Shackleton Expanse, because normally it takes, I believe, weeks to get over there.
Months even.
I believe, and Shackleton is very largely split with the Klingon Empire, if I remember correctly.
Mm-hmm. No, and
so
it's
that might actually.
It's the same with Narendra Station, where it is nominally a joint Starfleet and Klingon starbase.
Yes, that's the station within Shackleton, correct?
It's on the border,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
If anything, that might also divert some of the attention from us, since they can, poke at it in the once it's installed within the bounds of the Federation outpost or station that we're going to. It might ease some of our surveillance.
Well, I should qualify that the Shackleton Expanse transwarp hub is actually, just like it is at Starbase 234, it is right next to Narendra Station. It is basically feeding off the power of a sun, just like Starbase 234's transwarp hub, and it is, or I should say has been, under construction for a while. So the Klingons, again, know that you're building this. They know what it's for. They just haven't seen the Mercury, if you get what I'm trying to say.
Oh, interested in the ship versus what we're doing.
Yes.
That makes sense. We're able to operate a transwarp without a hub. And more technically, a new paradigm shift in propulsive technology.
So
well, out of character.
Yeah, I was
I
going
would
to say,
out of character. Yeah, what are we feeling now?
Sounds like Shackleton so far.
Yeah, I'll back Shackleton.
I'm cool with that.
Alrighty.
Okay. Then the captain makes a decision. Set course for the Shackleton Expanse, or set course for Narendra Station in the Shackleton Expanse.
And Nick snaps a salute and says, "Very well, sir. Should I handle that, or should I let the helmsman?"
I think for the time being, I think Ebsen wants to get their feet wet with this.
Oh, right. Yes. Sorry, Ebsen. I'm just so eager. I must say, just being connected to the ship systems like this, I don't really know how to describe it. It's an interesting feeling. I already was very much a marvel at my own creation, but the sensation of being everywhere that the ship is and everywhere the ship wants to be, it's like being in tune with the entire universe, but only a small portion of it. I have no idea if that makes any sense.
Uh-oh, mic issues again.
Yep, Joggy, you...
No, I was considering how I wanted to respond.
Oh, fair enough. Sorry.
It definitely is intriguing, even if you don't yet have the words to describe what you'd like to tell or what it's like. But thank you for your enthusiasm.
Yes, I'm sorry for stepping on your toes. As I said, I am newly formed. This is all new to me.
All right. Jensar's going to look at the captain. Any other points for this meeting, or should we start getting in motion?
I think for now, I think we have everything we wish to discuss.
All right. So, meeting is adjourned. Everyone goes to your stations. And I believe that, Ebsen, you have a very important role in front of you.
Time to not fail.
So, here is something new that comes with Nyx, and I'll explain the whole role so you see what it's like. So normally, when you activate the transwarp coil that the Mercury possesses, it is a control and con at a difficulty of 2, assisted by the ship's sensors con. Now, with Nyx helping you, you can lower that to a difficulty of 1, but you increase the complication range to an 18 to 20. And basically, Nyx's assist is the ship assist.
Okay. I mean, I think the complications that could happen with Nyx assisting sound like a lot of fun.
Okay. Well, in that case,
I'm not
Epson-
against.
Oh, go
I'm not
ahead.
against getting good at doing this ourselves before we start including Nix's help. But you're the pilot.
No, the assistance. You're saying I should. I'm still doing the role. You're saying. Are you saying in terms of the ship assist versus Nyx assist?
Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm trying to say, is that Nyx nominally is the ship in this instance. So it's like, so how to explain this? So basically you have the option of just doing things standard. That's difficulty 2, control con, sensors con, standard rule there. If you want Nyx to be a part of it and her manifesting through the ship, then it's still control con and sensors con, but it's the difficulty of 1 and the increased complication range. But it is entirely optional for you guys to choose.
Out of character, I'm game for either one. Not so whatever sounds fun to me. And we do have a momentum.
Yeah, complications are fun.
Good.
We like complications here.
Right up until the board cube shows up, but you know.
They already have transwarp. They don't want to assimilate us.
No, I think I did the math, and I think a planet killer is 15 threats. So, you know.
All right.
So it sounds like people are leaning away from using Nyx for this.
I'm just thinking in character, like I would definitely want to, like, get our crew people to do this with the ship that was designed for it.
Okay, that works. That is a solid reason. So I guess we'll take the ship roll for an assist, and I'm probably going to use a momentum because we've got it.
Cool.
Sounds good. Okay, sensors con for the ship.
Yep.
It's the ship gets.
And I have a focus that applies.
You do. You definitely do.
1 success from the ship.
1 second. All right, you marked the spend. Oh, I lost my window.
Very nice. That is a grand total of 5 successes, so you get 3 momentum back for your trouble. Well done.
Excellent.
That paid off.
Nice.
So you send the Mercury into transwarp space. Again, as we saw in the intro, a green field sort of materializes around the hull of the Mercury, and then the Mercury is flung at literal transwarp speeds towards the Shackleton Expanse. Now, chat did redeem a complication, so there's going to be a complication here. But what's going to happen is the transit takes maybe an hour. Maybe. Like, you are going ludicrous speeds, to use a meme for a moment.
Do we go to plaid?
Yes.
I'm glad somebody saw where I was going with that. You go beyond plaid for a moment.
It's chartreuse.
But what happens is right before you are scheduled to drop out of transwarp, something happens with the engine. And what I mean by that, Ebson, is you are sending commands to the engine to drop you out of transwarp, but the engine is not responding. It is, to put it one way, it is locked open, if that makes any sense, where you cannot get it to stop, and you are now overshooting the Shackleton Expanse.
All right. So with transwarp speed, how much is it that I'm basically going to fight with it until it comes out? Are you able to kind of turn around? This is all kind of new. And obviously, unlike a real car, I can't just pop it into neutral.
Right. So here's the problem that you face. Number one, if you try to turn the ship, it is very much a... How do I want to say this? As jet number 15 flies over. I might have to go quiet for a moment. Yeah, I got to go quiet because this pilot has no idea what he's doing.
We're not hearing it if it's any consolation.
Oh no, they're doing night ops because apparently with the low ceiling we have with all the cloud cover, today is where they get all their low cloud cover experience. So, you know. So here's the two things that you face. The first is that to turn in transwarp is very bad on the structure of your ship and is a daring con plus a ship's structure con at a difficulty of 5. So it's possible, just not very probable. The second thing that you need to be aware of is that for every hour you now spend in transwarp space, you have to make a roll to remain safely in transwarp. And this is sort of the reason why you can't just transwarp everywhere all the time for forever, kind of a thing. Where if you don't pass a daring or control plus con assisted by the ship's structure con at a difficulty of 2, then you start to suffer major system damage. And if you fail by enough, or you roll enough complications, you are violently ejected back into regular space. Not as bad as quantum slipstream drive, but it is still something that you need to be aware of.
Okay, so step 1 is to get us basically safely out wherever we're going in a straight line.
Mm-hmm.
We'll deal with the fancier flying in this case is a last resort, not a first resort.
Okay. So, are you theoretically or hypothetically trying to slow the ship? Are you trying to, as you said earlier, put it into neutral and let you coast? What is the process here?
So, yeah, in metaphor, putting it in neutral, like we basically want to exit. We want to transition out of transwarp, and we want to do it safely. If we go into, so that's ultimately my goal. If I'm willing to try it with essentially trying to get it to shift. Yeah, I'm okay with trying to downshift or shift out, and see if that disconnect will let us drop. Might make it worse. We'll find out.
Okay.
Epson will inform the captain of the complication. She's not stopping, Captain.
We noticed.
I'm gonna try putting her in neutral. See what happens.
Go for it.
All right.
All right. So
you can approach this via 2 angles. The first angle is you can approach it from a daring engineering perspective, where you are doing engineering things to slow the ship down. Or if you simply want to pop the clutch and shift gears, that's a daring con. The ship is going to assist you with a structure con, and the difficulty on this is a 3.
okay. I think we're going with there is going to be the level of engineering because we're trying not to break something as we do this.
Mm-hmm.
And we ultimately are kind of taking the quasi-mechanical approach versus coding bypass option.
Mm-hmm.
So daring engineering.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a fan of some daring engineering. And this would probably be guidance systems as a focus.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And I figure use some more momentum. Should I
Yep.
just use the one, or should I use all 3?
We can always spend threat later
Yeah.
to do stuff, so spend it all, I say.
All right, so I'll be taking 2 dice with momentum.
Let's see if the ship rolls.
Well, ship
A
is
success.
doing well. Now the question is, will Peter win the dice fell, or will you continue to roll hot? We'll find out momentarily.
Sorry, I keep accidentally clicking out of my dice interface.
Wow, that is 6 successes, so you get that momentum right back. And
This is going to bite me in the butt when we need it the most.
Yeah. So Epson, I imagine you run a diagnostic routine on the warp core and the nacelles and the whole transwarp system and the coil, the whole 9 yards, and you identify the issue, where there is a bit of a feedback loop, which is causing the, for lack of a better term, the thrusters to be locked open. But you run the
I'm with
command.
drive-by-wire systems.
Yeah. So you drop out of space. Sorry. I don't think that one was low enough. Can you fly lower? Because I don't like my roof. I could use a new roof. Could you fly lower? Just a little bit lower. Just a little lower. Sorry, I get really salty sometimes about these jets. You get ejected out into normal space, but you don't take any shield or stress damage across the board. Your initial dampeners are strained, but aside from doing the Star Trek shimmy, you are perfectly fine.
I'll take it.
Oof.
Well, okay, we're out. Where are we?
Yeah, let's get a reading on where we are, and please do not tell me it's the Delta Quadrant.
Well, that sounds like something for Stafford to do. Stafford,
Yep.
would you care to give me a reasoned science, and the ship will assist you with a sensor science?
Sure thing. Let's see here.
Ship's on fire today.
And something I will tell you you have is something you can do. This ship does have sophisticated astrometrics facilities. So you
All
can
right.
re-roll a d20 here.
Well, hopefully I won't need to, but fingers crossed. So, there we go.
2 successes, and then sensor science was a success as well. So you get a momentum because it was a difficulty of 2. So you get a momentum back.
All right.
So Stafford, I have good news and I have bad news. Which would you like first?
Go ahead and give me the bad news first.
Well, the bad news is that you're in the alpha, or you're in the beta quadrant, but you're beyond the Klingon Empire and the Shackleton Expanse. You have overshot on an estimate of about 4,000 light years.
All right. And the good news?
The good news is that as long as you can figure out why everything got locked open in the first place, you just transwarp back to the right place.
I thought you were going to tell us the good news is that we weren't in the Delta Quadrant.
I mean, yes, that's also good news, but you know.
True. I turn to Commander Paden. Well, sir, good news, bad news. Good news, we just need to get a chart back to where we need to go. Bad news, we are way past the Shackleton Expanse.
That makes sense. Where are we?
About 4,000 light years past the point that we were supposed to drop out, I believe.
So we're in the Beta Quadrant?
We are still in the beta quadrant. We haven't quite made it out of the quadrant, sir.
All right, which means I think we're past the Klingon Empire.
Yes, and Federation and the Romulans and pretty much every known contact that we have, sir.
What do we know about this region of space?
I believe it's largely uncharted, but I can have the computer bring up every little bit of information that we have, local quasars, things of that nature.
While they're doing
good.
that, I'm going to do a quick scan to see if there's anything that I can detect as far as a threat goes.
All right, Ram, why don't you give me a sensor security assisted by the ship's sensor security?
Okay. Da-da-da-da. Come on. 0 successes.
Mercury's failing, but that's okay. Oh, yeah, difficulty of 2.
Okay, you said it was security and what?
Security and reason.
Okay.
Want to grab some dice? Go for it.
Yeah, you have 4 momentum at the moment to play with.
Yeah, let me see. How many would I have to use to get this? My reason is only a 7, so that's my worst one.
You could use 3 momentum, and we'd still have a momentum left over.
Mm-hmm.
let me do that. Back.
All right.
I love seeing that momentum tracker go up and down.
And survey
right.
says
So using 3, what is that going to do? How many is that for me?
40-20. 3 successes.
Oh.
So you do get a momentum back, bringing you up to 2. And jet number 17, everybody. Jet number 17. I do apologize for this. If I knew they were doing night ops, I might have actually called off the session because it is starting to annoy me just a little bit.
You're fine.
I live near an airport too, but I'm in the basement, so that helps.
Yeah, no, the problem is again, as I said on the stream earlier today, like I understand why they're flying tonight, but at the same time, you can tell that these are newbie pilots because certain students understand that they're flying over residential areas. Other students do not realize that and think they're flying over open ocean, and there's a marked difference between the jet noise. So I do again apologize for that. Anyway, back on track. You succeeded. So you do find Ram that you remember, well, you might have been in the wrong universe for this, quote unquote, but at least the captain, when they briefed you about their otherworldly experience, remember those half-crescent moon ships that were attacking the transwarp hub and the alternate dimension, the future, whatever it ended up being? You are detecting one such ship within 3 light years of you.
One ship within 3 light years.
Also, there's a level 7 ion storm that's over yonder, but unless you fly into it for kicks or for giggles, it doesn't really bother you.
We'll avoid that, but any signs of what the ship is doing? Is it heading this way, or?
Well, that is an excellent question. The GM is considering his notes. The ship is indeed headed in your direction, but it doesn't look like they're beelining directly for you. It just looks like they're headed in your general area.
I'll relay the information. There seems to be a ship that's heading this way. We might have company soon, though they don't seem to be heading to intercept at this time.
Anything we recognize?
Don't believe I can, right?
Well, you would recognize it as being the same kind of ship that the captain and Stafford saw, but beyond that, you don't really have a whole lot of data.
Seems to be one of those that you had seen previously, but I still don't know who that is.
I look over to Stafford.
I look back over to the captain. Well, at least we kind of know where they came from now. Maybe.
Possibly.
And how am I on the process of pulling up any information about this sector?
So it's kind of, again, good news, bad news. Bad news, there's not really a whole lot of data. Good news, you're Starfleet. That means you can make the data yourself. Literally your ethos.
What that tells me is that the Klingons figured there was nothing worth conquering out here.
Well, also the fact it is 4,000 light years beyond their space. Like, to put size in question here, the entire Federation and Klingon space, at least by most star charts that I'm aware of, basically fits within 75 light years. So 4,000 light years, you are way out in the frontier, just way out there.
All right. Well, while we're out here, Stafford, do you want to head down to stellar cartography? Give us a long-range sweep?
On it, Captain. And Stafford's going to make a beeline towards stellar cartography.
Okay. Ram, keep an eye on that ship. Don't do anything threatening, but I want to keep its position known at all times.
Will do.
And let us know if it's changing course to head towards us directly.
Well, Captain, while we're digging up info through stellar cartography. I'd like to run some engineering checks and see if I can figure out what got stuck on and if we can prevent this from happening again.
Please do. I want to make sure we don't have a repeat of this incident.
Or at the very least, if we do a quicker exit option.
Please.
Now, Paden, as you were saying all of this, you notice that Nyx is focused on the image, or at least the sensor reading of that ship that is coming in your general direction. And you don't know if this is a look of fascination, a look of trepidation. You just know that she is staring at that reading very intently.
Do you recognize those ships, Nyx?
It's a funny thing, Captain. I feel like I know them on some level, but I can't really understand why. Though there is a strange emotion which I'm finding hard to articulate. Again, I've never felt something like this before, because, again, I'm newly formed, but there's a tightness in the throat area, there's a pressure in the chest, there's little bit of shaking. I'm not 100% sure what this emotion is.
Well, before your physical existence, Commander Safford and I ran into those ships during a temporal incident.
And she
The
stares
Mercury
at
was
it.
the Mercury was present. It might be available in some sensor logs, so I don't know how those came together once we realigned our universes.
Well, after a bit of standard array factoring, they were merged together. But no, why do I... And she repeats that like 3 or more times, and you start to wonder, oh no, is she broken? And then she suddenly like grips the console that she's standing next to, and she says, Captain, we need to leave. They cannot see us, they can't see me, we need to leave immediately. Anywhere is better than here.
Can you explain why?
I think I know the emotion that I'm feeling, sir. It's fear.
Ram, take the helm. Take us behind that ion storm.
Understood.
Now,
That should be able to block their sensors enough that we can finish the diagnostics and leave.
and jet number 18, everybody. Yay.
It's the ion. The jets are actually the ion storm. You just went too immersive this time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I wanted the jet noise as, ambiance for the ion storm, apparently. All right, well, what I would say is that Ram, you have a few options when it comes to getting either behind, within, or around the ion storm. However you want to arrange yourself between or in the ion storm compared to this other ship coming in. If you just want to literally fly straight in, that's just a standard control con, assisted by the ship's engines con, difficulty of 1, very easy. If you want to get behind the ion storm and use it as kind of a barrier, that's more of a daring con at a difficulty of 2. If you want to get within the ion storm and stay within it without bouncing around like you're in the Badlands, that is a daring con difficulty of 3.
I think daring con difficulty 2 sounds like the good midpoint there.
Yeah.
And if it helps, you do still have 2 momentum here.
Yeah, I might need it if that's okay with everybody.
Go for it.
So do you want 1 momentum for 3 dice total, or 4 dice total with 2 momentum and 1 threat?
I'll go ahead and do 3 dice.
Okay.
Complication range is still 1, right?
Yep, still 1.
Okay.
What's the ship rolling?
Engines con from the ship.
Does strategy apply for focus?
Strategy definitely applies as a focus.
Okay.
All right, success from the Mercury. 3 successes, so a grand total of 4. So you get 2 momentum back, bringing you up to 3. So yeah, Ram, I mean, you're not the helms person, but you know what you're doing at the helm. You managed to get the Mercury behind the ion storm as kind of a barrier, and you have bought yourself some time. And you would also notice, because you're also on the bridge still, that Nyx has been gripping the console with almost like white knuckle force. And once you're behind the barrier, she finally lets go of the console and says, Captain, I think I understand what's going on. Your ready room, perhaps? And perhaps Ram should join us?
Very well. I'll just talk to someone else. Lieutenant Blank, you have the con.
Ah, yes. Thank you, sir. Lieutenant Blake salutes. And in fact, you know what? He's now a character. I'm going to put him in my notes. He's not actually Blank. He is Blank. What can we make him? He's a Vulcan. Blank is a Vulcan. So Lieutenant Blank. And in fact, we're going to make that instead of a K, we're going to make it a C. So maybe it's more of a Blanc. No, that's more Blanc. No, we'll leave it as a K. Vulcan. All right.
Yeah, if he's Blanc, you're going to have to do a Foghorn Leghorn accent a la the Knives Out.
Mm-hmm.
I say, Captain, I say, that is not logical. I say, you're a spring chicken, Captain. I don't know.
No,
I
you
haven't
got
seen
to
Foghorn
more
in
on
so
flow
long.
with the accent. It's like talking through molasses.
I mean, I have a very few range of accents I can do. I can do silly Frenchman. I can do Sean Conra. And I can say, get to the chopper. And that's about all I got. So, you know. All right, well, let us rotate through everybody. And since Stafford left the bridge first, we will deal with Stafford, and then we'll go to Ebsen, and then the captain and Ram. So Stafford, when you arrive in stellar cartography, you actually see that there is a map already being done of the sector. You know, since you have such a sophisticated astrometric facility aboard the vessel, part of the automation is that it is automatically mapping the space. And again, I have good news, bad news. The good news is that you are getting a lot of excellent data that will satisfy the eggheads back at Daystrom for many, many years. The bad news is that you are somewhat in the boonies at the moment, where if you were to break down or that ion storm decides to make a turn and really hits you really hard, there's not really any sources of deuterium, there's not really any sources of duranium, no tritanium. There's just a general lack of systems, planets, stars, etc. that you could draw natural resources from. And if you are talking, you are muted. Oh, they disconnected.
Oh.
That explains that.
Oh,
Yeah,
internet cut out and he's rebooting.
Stafford had to reboot.
Yes, I see. All right, well, we will come back to that, and I'll repeat myself when we get back. So we'll go to Ebsen for the time being. Ebsen, you are now down. Oh, nope, Stafford's back. Maybe we'll stay with Stafford. Can you hear us now?
Just give me just 1 second. I'm just trying to get things back up. For some reason, it kicked me out of the game, so I'm just logging back in real quick.
No, you're good.
Well,
You're
like a
good.
Mercury episode with that technical issues.
Yep.
Yeah. First the jets, then technical issues. It's just a shit show all around.
Mm-hmm.
It happens. Don't worry. All right, just need to log in.
But no, Stafford, I don't know how much of that you heard before you cut out there.
The last thing I heard was gripping the console with like white knuckles.
Okay, so what you missed is basically Ram took the ship behind the ion storm very deftly, and once you were behind the ion storm, Nyx was like, okay, I'm going to stop death gripping this console, and I'm going to say, hey, Commander Ram and Commander Pruden, can you come with me in the ready room? We'll have a discussion. And then we cut to you before you cut out. So when you go to the astrometrics facility, or astrometrics, again, because it is such a sophisticated design, it's already mapping the space for you. Obviously, you still have to check the work and do the really nitty-gritty work. But what you find is that you are in a desert, so to speak, where there's not really good sources of duranium, deuterium, tritanium, dilithium, whatever you need to make repairs, get your ship to go. You'd have to go pretty far to find it, if you get what I'm trying to say here. So
Understood.
there is always a chance of finding like a rogue planet or a derelict vessel or, something like that. But you are out in the boonies.
Well, this is definitely an interesting change of pace, one might say. So I'm assuming besides the ship and the ion storm, that's basically all we're mapping at the moment.
Well, the nearest class, what is it, Class J? No, Class G star. That's what it is. There is a Class G star that is approximately 10 light years away, but that's the closest system you've got on sensors.
Hmm. Going to punch into the system to continue detailed scans until otherwise noted, and pass the job off probably to like an ensign or a lieutenant or some with instructions that, hey, if anything weird pops up, contact me immediately. I got to get back to the bridge.
All right. Ensign, of course, is happy to take over your work for the time being. And we will now cut to Lieutenant Commander Ebsen. So, Ebsen, you are main engineering, if I understood correctly?
Yep.
Okay. So you're in main engineering, and when you walk in, there is one of your, bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, eager ensigns there, and, he kind of walks up to you and says, "Sir, I'm happy to report that we found the issue in what caused our injector sequences to be locked."
That's great news. What's the bad news?
The bad news is that we need to replace the whole thing. And he hands you a pad. And when you look at the pad, you see that basically somebody, when they made the Mercury, may or may not have caused the entire coil to phase in just the right way that, to put it in technical terms, you melted your drive belt.
All right. And I'm going to assume, of course, we don't have spare parts for this.
Nope.
So, sounds like maybe we're getting some jury rig.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Okay. So you got that. Who on your team contributed most to figuring this out?
Well, that would be Ensign Weatherson over there. Hey, Weatherson. I think the chief wants to speak with you.
Yeah, because we're gonna get a Tiger team together, and we're gonna make something work. To quote Old Earth, it's like replacing the serpentine belt with a pair of pantyhose. It's not gonna be pretty, but we're gonna do what we got to do.
And I think Weatherson is, middle-aged, or maybe not middle-aged, like maybe mid-30s kind of lieutenant, and he's got a little bit of grime because he's been in a Jeffries too, but he comes up to you and says, "Okay, I haven't really heard that metaphor before, but it's coming from you, sir. I'll believe it. Let me see. What can we do? Well, we could always rip out from shuttle parts. That's always an option. It wouldn't get us very far, but we could do it."
As I understand it, we probably can't use the drive as is, correct?
Not unless you want it to be locked again, sir.
Right. So step one, we need to take it out. We need to figure out what out of it salvageable, what we can manufacture to replace parts, and what we're going to have to get creative with. We're going to have to do a little jury rigging, but you know what? We can always fix it. We got to make something happen. So let's see what we can whip up together. Let's get who would you say are your most out of the box thinkers?
Well, that would be me, and then Jeffrey here, and then you, sir, and I suppose we can always loop in the good doctor. I heard that the doctor actually has a bit of an engineering streak that they like, so we could always loop them in on this.
It's different. I like it. And stepping out of character, I assume we're looking at some sort of gated task at this point.
Yes. So you're looking at a gated task, and basically every time you make an attempt at it, you will do a certain amount of damage to the track. It's basically an extended track in second edition. It used to be very easy to do extended tasks in first edition. Now there's actually weight to extended tasks.
Yeah. The complication that Jensar is going to throw in is, of course, we don't want to take a regular drive offline because we do need at least bare minimum. We need impulse navigation while we're doing this.
Right.
The ship still needs to fly.
Right.
Yep.
All right. So, with the doctor, with Weatherson, with unnamed ensign, or Jeffrey, I named him Jeffrey, with Ensign Jeffrey helping you, I think this is probably a presence engineering from you. And the difficulty will start at a 4.
Okay. I feel like this is a reasonable time to actually use a value.
Okay.
The problem is I've got several that could go for this, because I have minimum 3, if not all 4 values. So, it looks like
if it affects anything, real quick, if it affects anything, just remember that the way advancement works in second edition is it's when you use the same value multiple times.
Fair enough. So I was actually going to. It's interesting because I was going to bring up that I've previously used. Sometimes you have to make your own solution, and that didn't work. So wondering if if that was a reason to use narratively to use a different one. But okay. I do think as that was one of the 3 that fits.
Mm-hmm.
I would say sometimes you have to make your own solution, or good leaders get their hands dirty are both valuable in this case. So we're going to use sometimes you make your own solution. I'm going to spend the determination that I've got for this session, which I hadn't actually marked on my sheet, so that's fine. Present. And I definitely have a focus here. Jury rig.
Mm-hmm.
So how do we do for the role for the NPCs assisting, or how does this work for the dice pool?
So you are going to be making presence engineering, and then I will be rolling a generic crew member to help you out.
All right, I'm just going to make a quick note that I am using the value.
And let me roll for the... Well, your crew doesn't help you, unfortunately. So it's all going to be on you.
They did the important job of giving the ideas that we always need some ideas you throw away. Mm-hmm. All right, so I have using focus checked off, and I have using determination value checked off.
Mm-hmm.
I need how many successes?
4.
Actually, this is gated, so...
You need 4.
4 total?
Yep.
Okay. What do you think, folks? Should I use momentum at this point?
Oh yeah.
All right. 1 or 2 dice.
Take all the momentum.
Sure. All right. So I'll be buying 2 dice.
Okay. Well, you get it right back. You get 2 momentum right back. And yeah, Ebsen, I'll let you decide what the actual, what the actual narrative is. But mechanically, with that many successes and with 5 engineering, you have achieved the first breakthrough. Or no, hold up. I think I'm reading that wrong. No, you are very close to achieving the first breakthrough in the track. And basically what that means is if you were to give me, say, I don't know, 2 more momentum, you basically could achieve a breakthrough and it would lower the difficulty, make things easier, etc., etc.
Coincidentally, we have 2 momentum.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we'll have to be spending threat for the next part, but yeah, go for it.
I'm good for it. I wanted to get through that first gate, see where we went. So take the momentum for that so we get the breakthrough.
Okay. So again, what that means is the difficulty is going to come down to a 3, and now you can actually use control or daring instead of just presence, unless you still want to be team lead. That's always your call to make.
That's fair enough. Let's see. Give me. So I think what's happening here is, Gensar's chief engineer, because they're good at sort of getting into it. They're good at lateral thinking, but the engineer who came up with the initial sort of this is what happened. I wouldn't say he's not Shax in terms of he always wants to eject the warp core, but like, he watches out for the team. He's kind of like the dad of the engineering team.
Mm-hmm.
So when Gensar gets a little too lost or a little too hyper focused on something, he's a little bit better at sort of the presence part of things, freeing up and kind of sometimes acts as the translator when Gensar is just sort of rattling off. Okay, we need this and we need this, and while someone's going, "What the heck is that part?" Even your metaphors are weird. He's translating, allowing me to shift to using, you said, controller daring.
Yep.
So essentially, the face part is being done by the engineer who we're interfacing with, because he's just a little bit better at the talking social part with the team that he's in there with all the time. And so obviously I've already used the determination. Can't do that again.
Well, what I was going to say is, since this is a timed thing, we're actually going to come back to you in a moment.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, so it gives you a chance to think, because we're going to now cut to the commander and Ram. So, Paden, Ram, you abscond into the ready room, and Nyx doesn't really move in the way you all move. She just kind of floats everywhere. But she floats into the ready room and kind of looks out the window you have of outside. And once the door is closed, she simply says, "Commander, I don't know how to tell either of you this, but that vessel that's coming in our general vicinity, it's a species that my kind know about. And I don't know how I know that, but they're called the Vivaldi. And for reasons I don't understand, all I know is that the Vivaldi and my people, my kind, entities like me, we are at war? We are trying to eradicate one another? It's very unclear. But all I know is that I feel an instinctual fear just seeing one of their vessels."
I have to forgive me, Nix. I assumed you were one of a kind.
So did I. Because that implies that there's more black boxes, more sentient black holes. Man, maybe we should have asked Stafford to be in here. He would have been ecstatic to hear that.
Just a second later, Stafford steps in. So we're basically in space desert.
Well, hopefully we won't have to spend too long out here. Stafford, Nix has some important news.
Oh, Stafford turns to look at Nyx.
Well, I'm not exactly one of the kind. I apparently I am one of many entities that have spawned from sentient black holes, but I am still a unique person, so congratulations, you have more things to study.
There's just like more than a little bit of a look of glee in Stafford's eyes. Really? Oh, I'm going to be writing so many papers.
Well, as
If
I was...
you don't mind.
No, of course. But the problem is, as I was just telling Paden and Ram, the problem is that by accessing this core memory, instinct, whatever you want to call it, the ship that's coming towards us, the Vivaldi, my kind are at war, trying to eradicate one another. All I know is that there is such a instinctual fear, an instinctual terror, just seeing one of their ships.
Fascinating. He's gonna like grab a pad and just immediately start punching in notes and everything. And they're called the Vivaldi. Instinctual fear. Possible additional black hole members of the species. All right.
I think we have to explore the possibility that these Vivaldi attacked us during that temporal event because they could detect you.
That is a very distinct possibility.
Forgive me, Nix, but as far as I understand it, as far as I understand of your being, you're not entirely connected to linear time. Is that correct?
I exist in multiple times at once, yes.
Is it possible you're not feeling so much instinct as you are not experiencing everything in a linear series of events?
Oh, I see. Experiencing the fear before I know why I'm experiencing the fear. Oh.
Exactly.
Well, I hadn't thought of it that way, but that does seem to be an accurate way of describing it.
Which might suggest what we encountered wasn't necessarily an ultimate universe, but we might have been pushed forward in time a little bit.
Well, sir, if we were indeed pushed forward in time, then at least we know that a possible attack might be coming. So we can at least attempt to prepare for such a possibility.
Maybe. Unfortunately, we might be starting to push up against a prime directive issue here.
True. Though, if they are a warp-capable species, it does generally stand by Starfleet's orders to attempt first contact, assuming photon torpedoes don't start flying. Of course, sir.
Ideally, I'd like to be able to leave the situation on a peaceful note. Exactly. But Nix's people
Ram is going
and
to
the
bubble under. Oh, sorry.
I was like Nix's people and the Vivaldi. We're sort of walking on a tightrope here. Because
Ram
unfortunately,
is
Nix's
just
people
mumbling
aren't.
to himself that he wouldn't be using photon torpedoes.
Turn a phrase.
Unfortunately, Nix's people aren't members of the Federation. And it's not Federation policy to involve ourselves in wars with other nations. I'm not saying we're not going to protect Nix. We absolutely will, but...
Well, I mean, I appreciate the gesture, Captain, but you should know what you're getting into. And again, I don't know how that I know this, I just do. But the Vivaldi are more or less the arbiters of the space between here and the galactic barrier, where they are a much larger entity in terms of organization of the Federation. They are hundreds, thousands of light years across. And they have some of the most terrifying technologies that I somehow know about. In fact, that's why I hate them so much. Well, that's new. I hate someone. And you can see that she's contemplating that. And she says, Captain, again, I don't know how I know this, but the Vivaldi use my kind as a weapon.
That's a terrifying thought. Weaponized black hole sentient beings.
That sounds worse than subspace weaponry.
No, sir, to make a metaphor, as much as I understand how metaphors work. A photon torpedo or a phaser is like throwing a tennis ball against a wall. It's not really going to damage the wall. It's just going to bounce back to you. You know, it does a little bit of damage if you keep throwing the tennis ball. And if you hit somebody with a tennis ball, unless you really hit it, it's kind of just a deterrence if you follow that. What the Vivaldi can do is like, I don't know how to say this. There's a old Earth reference in the computers, something called a Kool-Aid Man, and it bursts through walls at random and terrorizes children.
I think the metaphor got a little muddled, but I understand that this is a much bigger threat than you can properly articulate at the moment.
Something like that, yeah. Basically, they are capable of such destruction that the Federation has no defense for. Which
So that you
means,
understand their technology to some degree. Would you be able to help us build those defenses?
perhaps, but it still leaves the issue of them potentially attacking the Federation. And Nix actually looks at Ram very pointedly at this point. Lieutenant Commander, I can upgrade the gravimetric torpedoes that the Mercury cover or carries, and I can tell you where to hit the ship. But in terms of defenses, I don't have the natural resources aboard this vessel to construct something. We would have to land in a planet that has the resources. We'd have to go back to Stardock. We would have to be somewhere where I'd have an abundance of resources.
I'm afraid that we don't really have any of that on our current scans of the sector so far, Commander. We would need to travel further afield, preferably back towards Federation space.
To be perfectly honest, I don't want to start preparing for a war that hasn't even happened yet, and one that we don't necessarily have a clear idea will. I don't want us to begin escalations unless we have to. And next, I understand that your fear of these Vivaldi, but so far they're just one ship out there. If we can get out of here, get back to transwarp, we can just go at maximum warp out of this sector, we might be able to avoid this conflict in the first place.
Well, I certainly hope that Ebsen's doing a good job, because I'm detecting that the ion storm is beginning to dissipate as the GM spends 2 threat to add another ticking time clock to your worries.
Lovely.
I'm going to activate my comm badge and get a hold of Ebsen.
What?
Commander Bredena Ebsen?
Yeah?
Don't mean.
It's not a clear yet. It's something mumbled, like he's probably holding something in his mouth. Yeah?
Not to add to the pressures, but it looks like we're going to be on a ticking clock here. The ion storm is dissipating, that we're hiding behind. And Nix is telling me that the ship we've found on sensors, they are apparently a threat.
Well, considering what we saw them attacking a Federation station in the shifted timeline, doesn't surprise me. Working on it.
Are the traditional warp systems active?
ELH, this one is, I just need to verify with you. I know my intent was to not take that stuff offline,
Yeah.
but,
No, you have normal warp available to you. Just keep in mind that if you go to normal warp, the other ship is going to see you.
We didn't touch other propulsion systems, though. Obviously, you don't want to be seen by the other ship. So warp might be a bit risky.
Hang on.
But you can fly.
Yes.
Oh, sorry, I was telling someone real life something.
Okay, no worries.
Just
All
hadn't
right.
hit my mute button fast enough.
All right, Epson. Let's try to get the transwarp system back online as soon as possible. But then out.
Captain, I have an idea. If you don't mind, can we adjust our scans with the assistance of Nyx to see if there's any cloaked ships in the vicinity?
Sounds reasonable.
Nyx, are there any that you can detect? Klingon, Romulan, otherwise?
And Nyx is still looking out of the ready room window, but her eyes flash, and she says, "No, as far as the Mercury sensors can determine, there are no cloaked vessels outside."
Hmm. Almost hoping that somehow, some way, the Klingons had followed us here. Two ships is always better than one in case any hostilities open up or, fallback plan. Um, let's see. We need to be able to get away without being spotted. How dangerous is the ion storm?
Well, it's a Class 7, which for a ship this size means a pretty big deal.
Lieutenant Commander Ram, Commander Paden, how do you feel about going somewhat into the ion storm, using that to shield our being here until it just gets close enough to dissipating, and then warping out as if the warp signature might actually get masked by the ion storm?
I think it might make Ebson's life a little more difficult, but something to consider.
I'd likely need somebody to help me out with getting the piloting just right. It's not my primary focus, obviously.
Of course, it's just an idea. Worst comes to worst, we'd be hitting some pretty major gravimetric waves and ion issues, of course, but it's something to think about.
Indeed. I'm
Turning
going
to
to check
Nick.
and see if there's been any change to the trajectory of the ship. The Vivaldi ship, that is.
Well, if we could make a roll, maybe get you some momentum, Ram. If you want to give me a sensors and security for the ship, and then for you, a reason security. Difficulty of 1.
All right. No successes.
Does strategy apply? Kind of torn on whether it would.
Yep, jet number, what are we at, 19
Oh,
at this point?
yeah.
Jet number 19? Yeah.
Yep.
Just take the roof away already.
It certainly feels like they're getting lower and lower.
Would strategy apply, or
Strategy
I'm
would
just kind of
apply,
torn
yeah.
on it?
Sorry, I only heard
Okay.
so much because jet
Oh,
noise.
no problem. Complication 1 still?
Yeah, complication 1.
Okay.
All right, you get 2, so you get
There we go.
1 momentum back for your troubles. So, Ram, the good news is that the Vivaldi ship isn't coming any closer any quicker, but it is maintaining a leisurely warp 6 in your general direction still. And you have detected it has tried to scan the area several times, but it has not noticed you, or if it has noticed you, it doesn't care at the moment.
Well, that's something at least. So we know at least it doesn't seem to have any sort of extra sensory capability to detect Nyx. That was something I was a little nervous about.
Sounds like for the time being, we can keep ourselves out of the ion storm. But if they give any indication that they've marked our presence, we'll head in.
I agree.
All right. Safford is going to step over towards Nyx and kind of look at them and be like, "Are you okay? I understand this is very stressful for you right now."
Well, now that I understand the source of my fear, it's manageable.
Fear can be an emotional roller coaster. Just know that the crew is here to assist you as best we can.
Of course, I appreciate that, but I don't know why, but I sense that Ebsen is about to do something very silly. As we cut down to Lieutenant Commander Ebsen, about to do something potentially very silly.
No, so here's the thing. You say potentially and about to, as if the parts of this very unique and potentially delicate and experimental prototype engine are spread across in a, well, you could call it carefully kerned, but really it's more like a chaos mandala of parts. You've got gaskets, you've got gears, you've got connectors, you've got chips, you've got a little bit of everything. As we've been reassembling, we've been cannibalizing from different things. We've also been cannibalizing from the drive itself because, you know what? It actually didn't need that bypass and we need it over here instead.
Very important question. Self-sealing stem bolts, yes or no?
How easy is it to undo a self-sealing stem bolt?
Well, it depends if you have a reverse ratcheting router.
Don't know if there's one in my engineering kit. We are doing, since we're jury rigging, we know we're gonna have to undo everything. So if we've got the tool to undo it, yes.
Okay. I don't know. That's just kind of an inside Trek joke, but I think self-sealing stem bolts are meant to be permanent once you seal them. So
yeah, that's why I was like, I feel like those are too permanent for a jury rig. So those are more of a last resort because we know everything we're building is going to have to be taken apart. So we're going for secure, but we're going for let's not get the head of Starfleet engineering to personally come and have a careful one-on-one talk with us.
You don't want to have to call the Starfleet Corps of Engineers out here?
Now, see, I am obligated.
We are the Starfleet Corps of Engineers.
I am obligated to tell you that 13 Threat is no longer a Borg cube. 13 Threat is Miles O'Brien showing up.
Okay, threaten me with a good time, why don't you? I feel like Miles and Jensar have very similar values, so you know, I'll take getting him out here. All right, so as I expressed, there is the scene. The scene is not horrifying to a fellow engineer in the project. However, if anyone was to come down, such as the captain or anyone else, they'd probably be kind of horrified at the chaos of the disassembly and reassembly that is going on in engineering, or is it engineering? Wherever we have access to the drive.
It's engineering.
Okay.
It's not like the Event Horizon where the extra drive is in a closet.
The captain has a 3 in engineering. You might understand.
There you go.
There's understanding and there's the shock, of like, why is it in so many pieces? So again, we are using, I don't remember the NPC's name, but he is going to be the one kind of translating as Jensar is like working, sometimes having the tool in his mouth or a spare part, so it's easy to access. I don't know if the focus that more applies is jury rig or experimental technology here.
I mean,
but we got
would apply.
I also want to mention that Jensar has maintenance specialist, which may come into play here.
Means you can ignore the first complication rolled on engineering. Very important.
Yes. And I am still, I mean, I can't apply a value, but we're working in line with them. So, control engineering with a focus.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and let's make things interesting since chat just redeemed a complication. Your complication range is 18 to 20.
Not a big deal.
And it is a difficulty of 3.
Yes. But I get 3 all at once or cumulative 3?
Cumulative 3, and the crew assisting you did get a success.
Mm-hmm. Cool. I was sorry, I'm reviewing my talents because where they come in place. We've already got the problem, so I don't need that bonus. Complication. All right. You know what? I'm gonna buy a die.
Okay.
Using the momentum.
Two successes combines with the 1 from the assist for your 3. However,
I'm ignoring one of those 2 complications.
Yeah, unfortunately, there is still a complication on the field. So here's what's going to happen. Because again, if you give me 1 momentum and 1 threat, you can finish this extended task. Like, you can have the engine back together and ready to get out of here. But there's still going to be a complication.
I think I have to give you 2 threat because I spent the momentum.
Ah, well, yes. Then in that case, you would have to give me 2 threat for it. But you could still do that.
Y'all cool with that?
Yep.
Take the threat.
Yep. Okay. So here's the thing, Ebsen. You put everything back together with your team, and you have one of those, yes, I did it moments. And that's when Ram gets the alert that a very directed sensor scan has been directed at the Mercury, and that the Vivaldi ship is making a direct beeline for you now.
Time to test these repairs.
Fingers crossed.
All right, so this is a small enough ship, right, that it's not too big of a deal to run, or should I have them use the transporter for a short point-to-point transport?
You tell me, whichever you feel is more thematic.
Running.
It's also, I don't think anyone's in place for that. So, yeah, the last bits are put in place. I think the way this goes is we knew we were on the time
crunch.
Time crunch. Thank you. So, Jensar is getting this jury rig together, and it's basically it's all together, but it's not completely back in. And they basically go, all right, it's set, get it back in the housing. I have to go back to the helm, and is starting to basically pelt down the hallway. Like, it's basically about to hit the door when the notice of, hey, we got to go now comes through. So the engineering team is sort of actually getting things securely in place, while Jensar is just belting it down the hallway.
Okay. Well, Ram and Stafford and Paden back up in the ready room. You did just get that notification. What is it you wish to do?
Head back to the bridge.
Yeah, Ram's immediately making a beeline for the tactical console.
Yeah.
Right. Red alert, I assume.
Let's keep us at yellow for the time being.
Okay.
We don't want to give him a threatening posture.
All right. And as you all settle into the bridge, Jensar comes running in from one of the doors, slides into the seat, Tom Paris style.
No, we're pole vaulted. We are vaulting over the back and into the seat.
Nice.
Limbs everywhere.
The Power Riker.
The Power Riker, indeed. All right. Well, this is going to be the role that either makes this episode a bottle episode of sorts, or we turn this into a 2-parter. This is going to be a very important role. And I have 8 threat to mess with. So we're going to make this interesting. It is still a control con. It is still a sensors con. However, I am going to immediately spend 5 threat. So if you have a talent that when the GM spends 3 or more threat, it triggers here. I'm going to spend 5 of that threat to make the complication range a 16 to 20. I then am going to spend 2 more threat to increase the difficulty to a 3.
Painful.
Sounds like fun.
Okay.
But yeah,
Fingers
Epson.
crossed, everyone.
Yeah, Epson. Very important control con, difficulty of 3, and then ship sensors con.
Control
Okay,
con,
ship
you said?
sensors con. Complication range is what, 4 or 5?
5.
5. Lovely.
Well, there's already one complication.
Wait, was that a failure?
That's an F20, yeah.
It
wait
is a
one sec.
complication.
Wait. Whenever there's I have the one with the failure.
Backup plans. Yeah.
Whenever you're an ally, fail a task. As long as I am present in the scene, we get 1 momentum.
Yes, but you have to fail the task overall before that triggers.
Oh, okay. That's just the roll. Okay, so that was the assist roll.
Yeah, that's just the assist.
Okay, fair enough. Oh man. Okay.
Our poor ship.
Well, chat just also gave you momentum, so thank chat.
Thank you, chat.
Thank you, chat.
All right, sorry, I just bouncing through what I have on here. All right, so control con, perform task, focus. I'm going to use that momentum.
Okay.
I did not get an assist from the ship.
So I need to see 3 successes here.
All right, knock on wood, right?
You get 4 successes. Means you actually get a momentum back for your trouble. So here's what happens.
I dedicate this success to chat.
So here's what happens, Epson. You get the Mercury back into transwarp before the Vivaldi ship can arrive. But the complication, and I'll tell you this above board because it's one of those cinematic moments that you wouldn't know otherwise. As you warp away, we just slowly cut to the Vivaldi Bridge, which is a very esoteric design. It's very Tholian-esque, where they use all surfaces, including walls and ceilings, for stations and things of that design. But we see a zoom-in of you all going to transwarp, and then we see a diagram of an astrometrics display that leads back to Federation space. And that's where we're going to end today's episode, because jet number 21, everybody. Oh, I do apologize. Like, normally I'm a little bit more upbeat, but 21 Jets has broken me down today.
21 Jets has broken me down today sounds like a really good song.
It does,
I don't know,
doesn't
it's like a 21 Pilots cover band to me.
Yeah. Oh, Lord. I hope you had fun, though. Despite all the technical snafus, I do hope you all had fun.
Oh, I had a blast.
Oh, yeah, I had fun.
Awesome.
I was actually thinking running from them initially, but might have been a mistake.
Oh, it definitely would have been. Like, had you gone to regular warp, they would have honed it on you immediately.
No, I mean, I was open to open diplomatic negotiations.
Oh. Well, I'm not going to spoil that mystery because they might show up in your near future.
Yeah.
Dun, dun, dun.
Spooky.
All right. Well, Twitch, stick around because we're going to raid somebody, but YouTube, we'll see you later. Bye-bye, YouTube.